Good night, good night, good night. Good night, good night, good night. Welcome to another episode of the All Over It podcast. All Over It, where we uncovering it all. Good night, good night, good night, Auntie Flo. Blessings. Thanks for joining. Well, yeah, another episode 13. We here. All over it. We all over it. That's not a problem. No problem at all. Yeah. Today, July 28th, 2025, All Over It podcast, episode 13, where we talking about financial literacy, which is the real flex, the real flex. Yeah. About it, let's be honest. That's what everybody want to talk about, what everybody want to know about. Everybody want to make more money, manage their money, live good, spending their money on wherever they want to spend their money on. Sure, we could all agree. So yeah, that's what we're gonna be talking about today. But yeah, as per usual, I'll start with a little welcome and announcements. Then I'm gonna get into the motivational message. And we're gonna dive straight into the financial literacy for today. Then yeah, we're gonna wrap up. But yeah, anybody who on the live, leave a little comment. Let me know who they are. Of course, I can shout you out. Blessings and love. See, it look like Olivier on the live. Big up yourself one time, my brother. Oh gosh, and my boy. Yeah. Big up, big up, big up. I'm telling you. Look at this. Tuning in right now from Holland, America, Westerdam. Okay, I just had to make sure I say good. Cruise ship sailing from Seattle to Alaska. Imagine that. We got people tuning in all over the place. Oh God, my dog. Big up my dog, look one time. Shout out my dog, look straight out of Saber. Big up. Nah man, this big thing carnival going on in Saber and my dog and my life. That's love. That's blessing. Love alone. You don't know. Big up yourself, Olivier. Yeah. Big thing self. Good night, Shamika. Thanks for joining. So again, you know, get right into it. Like I said, I can talk about like the announcements. Welcome. Anybody else who there, just leave a little comment. Again, shout out for sure. But yeah, last week, anybody who was on would know I spoke about the StreamYard platform, which as you can see, no more logos. So that means I invested. We talking about investing, and one thing I talk about a lot, investing in yourself. You gotta invest in yourself first. Put things in here so you could put things in your hand. Okay, good. Yeah, man. Come check in on me. Carnival time. Yeah. You enjoy yourself, my brother. Love alone. But yeah. So yeah, I invested in StreamYard. I ain't gonna lie, anybody who doing anything like content creator, live stream, videography wise, if you going live or anything, I do recommend the StreamYard platform. Like I said, I had know it already, know about it, but now that I'm using it a few times, I could say it's positive vibe self, you know. Um, yeah. Big up King. Big up my dog King Paul. Okay, good. But yeah, so StreamYard, if you on these type of tips, but yeah, we elevating things. We making sure we staying on the forefront, we moving up and just getting better with time, like wine. Yeah. So, like I had mentioned a couple episodes ago too, got a few stuff I looking to procure, namely a mic, yeah, another mic and a camera. Yeah, and up and up. Going put together a nicer content creation like course too. Don't worry, man. We got some things coming. But yeah, interviews coming soon too. I done already got one line up with somebody regarding dividend investing and things along those nature. So don't worry, we got some good things coming. Good things coming. But yeah, let me get right into the motivational message, which is leadership and growth. You gotta grow, you gotta be a leader, especially if you're investing, if you're going to be a business owner, if you're going to be investing in real estate, whatever it is, you got to have some type of financial literacy, some type of leadership acumen. So yesterday in my Toastmasters meeting, I delivered this message, this speech talking about leadership and growth. Whereas as I spoke about, building momentum is necessary for leadership for sure. Even the best leaders made mistakes. No one knows everything. And great leaders don't act like they do. Many leaders take up the mantle knowing that they are not yet ready in the beginning, but they have the potential to grow and the determination and self confidence to keep on it. He got this quote that says, leadership is unlocking people's potential to become better, by Bill Bradley. And I find that resonates deeply with me because I remember last year around June, July time, so a few weeks back, last year, I was inducted as the public relations officer of my Toastmasters club. And I remember when I was going into it, I was kind of nervous, thinking to myself, like, why they even choose me for this? Like, am I even capable of doing this role? Like, I don't know what public relations officer role entails, and it was like, a lot of things going through your head, but looking back at it, I am very grateful for taking the role. And I had to say thank you to, my then president, Valerie Brazier, for recognizing my potential because, I know a lot about technology. I have a degree in computer science, but like I said, going into the role, I was a little nervous. And like I said, looking back at it now, it's a blessing. It has been a blessing, and I have surely grown significantly since taking on that role. So the public relations officer role entails, in a nutshell, just promoting a club, so telling people who don't know about Toastmasters or who don't know about the club about it, and just asking them or recommending them to come, and in this role I would be doing things like creating flyers, creating posts on social media about the club, different recognitions for maybe education or birthday flyers and different things like that, creating press releases, sending them to the different publication stations, so whether the newspapers or the different news outlets, so they could be publicized. Also, one of the biggest things was taking pictures as memories, but also for promotional content. So everybody in the meetings, the members and thing, when you do a speech and thing, you would like to have a picture to remember it, but also maybe something memorable happens in the club. Maybe it was an induction day and you'll take a picture, so that when you're creating a press release, you have thing for it. So I had a lot of vision too for the VPPR role while I was in it, because currently I moved to another role, which I'm going to talk about. And yeah, I was looking to put together a committee, which is like a few of us who would be dealing with like the VPPR tasks. So creating the flyers and so on, maybe editing videos and different things. Recording the speeches, because in the club, the information that will be shared will be very impactful and very insightful. And certain of the things is information that I show people outside of the club would really love to hear and know, like sometimes like maybe medical related things or like health things or maybe just financial literacy things or a lot of different valuable information. So recording it would be valuable to then maybe use as promotional content, share, and the members for sure, myself is one, would love that we would be recording in the room, and then whatever speech I do, I could just take it and post it here on Facebook or on YouTube or whatever. So honestly, I had a mindset to kind of make it like a TED Talk, like a disciples TED Talk, because really good information will be shared. But now I am the officer of membership, so the role is a little different. Now I'm tasked with retaining and bringing in new members, but still, I plan to keep the strategic momentum going. And this time, I'm confident that I can do well. The feeling going into it now is very different from last year, but I'm very thankful because my potential was recognized and I surely has grown. So today, I even could tell you I had a chance yesterday in a meeting to preside over the meeting as the president, because the sitting president and the second person on the board was absent. So I end up having to preside over the meeting. That's a blessing. That's elevation. So my message to you today is be open to trying something new, stepping out of your comfort zone, because you never know what could happen and where that could bring you. Like they have this line that I love that says, find whatever greatness lies within you and nurture it. And that's all we have to do, you know, find our purpose and keep at it. So that's my message to you. Leadership and growth. If you ever want to hear it again, you could always find back this video and listen to it back. If you ever need that inspiration and motivation. But yeah, that's my message. Anyways, big up yourself one time, Trevor. Yeah. That's my DJ now. Don't play with that. Yeah. Shout out Trevor one time. And good night to you, my mother. Blessings to you, my mother, Mary Williams. Amen. In the chat, in the place to be. So yeah, we here in a place, and I can get right into it because I know none of us ain't got no time to waste, no time for rubbish. You check? So yeah, I can throw this up like this. Let me throw it up like this. Let me switch it up like that. Could see the nice screen. Pull up this nice, lovely. Yeah. Look good, right? Financial Literacy by Oliver Williams. Big presentation here tonight. You heard it here first. So yeah, today we're going to be going through financial literacy. This is going to be the agenda. As you can see, we're going to go through an introduction and give a short personal story. I really want to go too deep into that to kind of get through everything. Then like talk about mindset shifts, financial investment avenues, insurances, business, record keeping, and then the conclusion. So to start, financial literacy, what is it? What is it and why is it so important? To teach everybody. So I'll start here. Definition. Financial literacy is a set of skills needed to handle money wisely, invest effectively, and plan for a comfortable future. Financial literacy is the essential foundation for a smart relationship with money. This is important to understand. It is the start of a lifelong journey of managing the financial aspect of your life. Knowing the basics of money management, budgeting, saving, and investing contributes to a more successful and less stressful life. The earlier you start to become financially literate, the better off you'll be. They have a lot of takeaways, but what I really want to touch on is this part: pitfalls of illiteracy. Being financially illiterate can lead to financial disaster. You hear it? I ain't write it. No, somebody else write it. As it increases the likelihood of accumulating unsustainable debt burdens due to poor spending decisions or a lack of long-term planning. This in turn can lead to poor credit, bankruptcy, and house foreclosure. This here making it sound good, but this sounding, big and grand and grandiose, but all it really telling you is if you don't manage your money and if you don't put your money in smart places from early, you're gonna forever be broke. You won't come forever be not even living hand to mouth, but living in poverty. And I don't think we want that. I sure we want to live as fruitful and as positive, have a comfortable future, provide a comfortable future for our loved ones, for ourselves, for our family, friends, our future generations, everything. Like me, my mindset is generational wealth. It ain't just about me. Which I trying to do for me. My children I ain't even got yet. Their children, like, yeah, real thing. So you gotta really be financially literate if you're going to have type of vision like that. Straight up, you gotta know where you're putting your money and what you're doing with it so that it could live them that long term longevity, You see, look, blessings, Maya. Blessings to my old schoolmate, Maya Thomas, in the chat. As she said, facts. Okay, good. Anyways, look, financial literacy though is not just about saving your money. Whether you're putting it under your bed or if it's in a bank account. It's not just working for money to get a salary to pay bills. It's about doing the right things with your money, making the right moves, making smart choices. As my niece to say, make smart choices. Yeah. So it's planning for something. You're hoping for the best, but you gotta plan for the worst. Because anything could happen. And that's why they just tell you, have an emergency fund, have a nest egg for these reasons. So yeah, plan for your future. Plan for your future. Bottom line. So going back to the PowerPoint, moving on. So yeah, just briefly, like I say, share my personal story. For me, I'll say I grew up around business-minded people. Even in my first episode of this podcast, episode 1, I shared like my personal story, and I talk about like business growing up with my parents, and them always having different business opportunities doing, and like I say, my family, other people, like let me say family, friends, you'll see have different business opportunities they're doing, and so on. So I would say I always been exposed to that, and I always had an affinity for it. Even now, I actually in a business course there now, and I was reflecting, and I was reminiscing on when I was young, even like primary school days, like young, before teenage. I remember I used to write in copybooks, like make drawings of like different type of cars, or like, different designs for different things, and I'll say like, yeah, I can own this business one these days. And like, long story short, I was reminiscing and thinking back, and I was realizing like, even from a young age, I always had that mindset. I always had that mindset like, yeah, I can own my own thing. I ain't gonna just be like another worker. I ain't gonna just be another number, another statistic. I can be somebody. I can contribute. I can do something with my life. Plain and simple. So right now, I feel confident in my financial literacy acumen, my knowledge of financial literacy. Of course, none of us perfect. All of us have a lot to learn still, me included. But I feel confident that the knowledge I have gained and acquired over the years, I am capable of, putting it in the right places, making smart choices, and just doing the right things, because bottom line, like, they want to just live a life, just want to live a life of enjoyment. But you have to look at it in a way like, yeah, you could spend some money to go out and enjoy yourself, but at least try to put something aside so that you could think on your future, like look at the longevity of things, so yeah, that's that's a way to look at it. I of course is try to live life still, but yeah, yeah, so right now, as I expressed in this podcast in few episodes before, and on different occasions, about my personal financial journey, I actually had an episode where I talk about investing in your investing in assets. Sorry, I have to remember, because I had one, investing in yourself first. Yeah, because you gotta invest in yourself. Anyways, currently I have a good little portfolio of some stocks I've been buying and holding, some dividend paying stocks, you know. And apart from that, on different occasions, I have done investments, whether come out positive, whether come out negative, Maybe you see an opportunity, you could put a 500 or 1,000 down, you do that. Sometimes it'll work out, sometimes they don't. That's all as part of the game, but yeah. So right now, I got a little alright portfolio. I've been doing my thing where trading is concerned, moving away from the day trading and more focusing on like more long term. But, you got a busy life. You don't want to be sitting down behind a computer every day, having to be behind a computer doing that. My mindset now is set it up, maybe leave it run for a week, couple of weeks, make your money, rinse and repeat. So yeah, that's where I'm going. Where I'm going to is generational wealth, you know, investing in different avenues. Like I say, continuing investing in my stock portfolio, increasing real estate assets, and even some of the other assets we're going to talk about in this thing today, in this presentation. Yeah. Good stuff. So yeah, mindset shift. A mindset shift is very necessary. Hey, good night, TM Jackie B. DTM, apologies. Let me be respect. Have me respected. Have me corrected. Good evening, DTM Jackie B. Thanks for joining. Blessings. Yeah, you see, I know getting back on Facebook, would be attractive to certain people because certain people ain't really on the YouTube run. But I'll be honest, personally, I like the YouTube more, which honestly they should have been in my announcement. But anyways, I like the YouTube more because first of all, scheduling and maintaining, managing the lives and things does be a lot easier and a lot more straightforward. Like Facebook, they'll be following up like on a reel. But yeah, it's always good to have options. And I know certain people, like I say, might not want to be on YouTube. They rather just jump on Facebook. So you try to cater to different markets, different audiences, cater to your crowd, cater to your community. All of that's part of business. Check, we talk about financial literacy, we talk about business, that all that's part of it. Good. Okay, good. My brothers are in the place. Yeah. Man, I doing big things tonight for sure. Wow. My boys are in the place. Big up one time. Shout out to my boys and big business right there now. Big business. You see that what I tell you from growing up, I've been around people who like been business minded, doing business, family in business, all these different things, so I know about business. Play thing, go come back. Nobody can spin me wrong. Nah. I might listen to you and play but good. Anyways, mindset shift. Yeah. We gotta shift your mind if we want prosperity when it comes to financial literacy. So I just want to start by sharing this short snippet before I move into the actual thing I want to show on mindset shift. So mindset shift in business. To thrive, leaders must adopt a mindset that drives empowerment, inspires innovation, and encourages proactive adjustment. From rethinking growth goals to fostering a culture of resilience, the right shift can unlock significant progress and help you build a thriving organization. So that's more geared towards like business and that type of setting, but it could go for anybody, even in your personal life. Like sometimes a mindset shift is what we need to shake up and get ourselves out of the rut or the paycheck to paycheck or the can't make ends meet type of lifestyle. Sometimes you got to change it up and do things a little different. you know Close this ad and get to the point. So why mindset shifts are important in organizational transformation. So yes, like I say, this is more geared towards in an organization, but think of it on a personal level. Whatever issues you facing, whatever situation you going through that you feel need a change, like maybe you going through a transition right now, or maybe you need to, maybe you just been living an uphill battle. Sometimes you just gotta change the situation, and it starts with the mind. You gotta shift the mind to then now shift the body. And I read, let's be honest, everything starts in your mind. So some key points for mindset shifts are catalyst for change. Mindset serves as the foundation for behavior and decision making, adaptability and innovation. In a rapid evolving business environment, adaptability is crucial, meaning like changing, adapting to change is like, rolling with the tide, rolling with the punches, and, just figuring out ways to solve it and come out on top. This says employee engagement and empowerment, but think on it personal engagement and empowerment, like engage with yourself. Sometimes you gotta sit down and like reflect and think back to yourself with yourself, like, by did did what I do right? Did what I do, was it right? Like am I on the right track? Am what I doing even what I should be doing? Let me say like that. Sometimes you just gotta reevaluate things and see where you're really coming, what really going on in your life. Resilience in the face of challenges. You know, Transformation often involves overcoming obstacles and setbacks. A resilient mindset, characterized by a positive outlook and ability to learn from failures, enables you to navigate challenges greater greater determination and agility. And then, yeah, cultural alignment, mindset shifts contribute to establishment of a cohesive organizational culture. Good. So all of that is to say, first of all, when it comes to financial literacy, a mindset shift is necessary because, first of all, you gotta shift your mind from a consumer to an investor now, or let me say a consumer to a supplier. Check. If you decide you want to go in business, you gotta stop looking at things from buy I go and buy it to buy how I could supply this. Good mindset shift in that a lot of the things we know or learn related to money honestly is not the best approach or the best practices where money is concerned, money management is concerned, and honestly, plain and simple, a lot of us don't know how to manage money. Straight up. You check? A lot of us just know how to make money, and the mindset is, okay, the more money you make, then the more money you're gonna have. Because then if I spend in this amount and I make more than it, then I got this amount, of surplus. So then if I make more, then I got more surplus. But usually when you get more money, your expenses will go up just the same. So let me say you're getting $1,000 right now, maybe your expenses, maybe you're blowing a whole thousand, but let me say your expenses is 850, you're saving 150. Cool. Maybe now you're making 1,005. You might say, okay, well, my expenses was 850, so now I gonna save more, but then two tools, tell yourself, buy, maybe I should buy a new car. Or maybe I should go do this, maybe I should go do that. Two tools. Now you're back to the same thing. You're making 1,005, but you're only saving 100 now. Or maybe 50, if you even get to save anything. So yeah, a mindset shift is necessary. And what I mean for you is, if you really want to put yourself on a certain level in financial literacy, you just have to sometimes start thinking about money in a different way, and shifting your views on money and making money and all these different things. Because look, and this is gonna be the last point to answer on this. Like how I say, your views on making money. A lot of people only look at making money that the only way they could make money is to go out and work for it. No lie, I think the best feeling in the world, at least for me, right now, is when I get a message on my phone checking like, yeah, dividend payment drop. It's like you're making money in your sleep. And then you know what'll be the best one? When you're out, let me say you're out spending money, and then that message come in is like, yeah, feel good. You check, I ain't gotta go work now to make that money back. She coming in. Yeah, my money working for me. Yeah. Feels great. Telling you. So a lot of people, all they know is buy, I need money, buy what work I could do. But honestly, you won't gonna reach far doing that. You won't gonna reach like to whatever status you want to reach on doing that, because They only a limited amount of hours in a day. They only a limited amount of energy you have to exert on that. And yeah, you could elevate your skills and increase your price, but it's only so much you could make, So now the best thing to do is, okay, you go, you work, you make your money, and then you put it in smart avenues that now your money working for you. You check? And that now brings me into the segue of the next slide, which is the different financial investment avenues. Yeah. Big up yourself one time. Big up yourself one time, Cruz. You don't know. My dog there from Cruz. Big up. You don't know. Yeah, man, I'm gonna keep it up for sure. Keep pushing always. Nobody can stop me. Like Sizzler say, solid as a rock. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, financial investment avenues. A list of these are real estate is one of the top ones. Most people they look at real estate when they think on investing in something. Whether it's they buy a house or they buy a property to flip or they maybe do rental or Airbnb is a thing now. Whatever it is, all that fall under real estate. Investing in startups or established businesses, investing in stocks, buy and hold, like I was just saying. I got some dividend paying ETFs I've been investing in, and now over the duration they've been paying me dividends as well. So as you could see, dividends is also a next one on the list. Then we talk about trading, which is like, buying and selling stocks short period. And then yeah, gold and other commodities. I also have insurances, which is not in this list because I decided to do it separate outside of this list on its own because it's technically its own entity. So to kind of touch on these different avenues a little bit. So like I say, real estate. Real estate, well, before I get into that, let me just show this is a article from Wikifinancepedia, which talks about different avenues of investments, the meanings, the types, the importance, and so on. So I just want to show you the table of content. And as you can see, it talk about what are they, what types they have, but then they have like a list of different types of investment avenues, so derivative markets, equity stocks, like I say, like buying and holding or trading, mutual funds, bonds, public provident funds, national pension schemes, like I said, property, investing in gold, life insurance and general insurances, securities, different things. So they got a lot of different avenues. So the thing is, most people when they think of like investing, the first thing they want to do is like ask somebody, yeah, what I should put my money in. But you gotta know, you like in a sense of like nobody can really tell you what to put your money in because they got so much options. It's like you gotta see what floats your boat, what resonates the most with you. So I could tell you, yeah, get into real estate, but maybe you like stocks, maybe you like the flip of the stocks, you buy it now, it go up, you sell it. Like you might tell me, yeah, real estate too long, that'll take too long, I can't do that. So it's a difficult thing. I ain't gonna lie. I commend financial advisors. And let me just say, I'm not a financial advisor. In no way, this is not financial advice. This is just for educational purposes and entertainment a little bit. But yeah, I ain't no financial advisor. But the most I could do is share whatever insights and education I could give. But I always tell everybody, do your own due diligence. Like I say, all these links I'm going to show here today, I'm going to share in the description. You could always check back anything that interests you, anything that floats your boat. You could check it back. And I'm gonna be talking about all these things again, I promise you. So yeah, going back to it, like I say, a lot of avenues. I'm gonna share that link for sure. But yeah, going into real estate, a beginner's guide to real estate investing. When you think about real estate investing, the first thing that probably comes to mind is your home. Of course, real estate investors have lots of other options when it comes to choosing investments, and they don't all require direct ownership. Real estate has become a popular investment vehicle, and we can talk about some different options in that. They talk about some historical prices, but we ain't gonna get into that. So some of the different types of options under real estate, so we say subcategories, are rental properties. So you could buy a property that have multiple apartments and rent them out. Whether for the month, whether if you got long term agreements or contracts with your tenants, whatever it is. I could tell you I've been involved in this aspect of real estate and investing for a long time from I was a little boy. And the best advice I could give you is maintain your property. Make sure you maintain your property. You spend some money to upkeep it and whatever structural damage, fix it up because it making you money. And make sure you have good, trustworthy tenants in your place. Some people did start out good, but try to make sure you have good, trustworthy people in your place because, yeah, that could mess you up too. You check? Yeah, telling you that is very important. So I ain't gonna get too much into that, but yeah, rental properties is, yeah, like I say, you rent it for a month or however agreement you have with your tenants, and basically certain structural upkeep maybe you might have to take care of, like maybe if a pipe busts or if something certain things break, but then the rest of it is on they rent into you. You have your agreement in your contract how it would go, whether they're going to deal with whatever else. You know how you'll deal with it. But rental property is one of the common strategies to investing in real estate. Flipping houses is you know a different category altogether. This is when you look for either when you repair a house, renovations, or if you just buy and hold it and resell it later for premium, for higher than what you buy it for. So let me say maybe you find a property somewhere that a little mash up, but you say, man, I could throw a little money into this. I know how I could get this fixed up. I know the people I need to get it fixed up, all the material. I could do this. Why not? You invest in a nice fixer upper, and like I say, you plan your project, or you're going undergo the renovations, and you execute your project. Once your place is fixed up and running, you could either rent it, you could Airbnb it, you could flip it, like it says, sell it back for more. A lot of people, especially in the States, a lot of people just do that. A lot of people, that's how they just make their living. Just buying properties, fixing them up a little bit. Maybe they buy it for like 100,000, maybe less, maybe 200,000, depending on the quality of depend on the market, what they're looking into. And yeah, they maybe throw a couple thousand, maybe a 10,000, 20,000 in the place and sell it back for like 400, 500,000, So you're making good return, but you gotta wait a little bit, or however speed you could turn over the repairs, you know? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Big up my boy Nate. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Big up yourself one time. Okay, good. We ain't anti-P today. Uncle O. Anyways, REITs is also an option. I actually had invested in one of these from a company called Diversity Fund. Haven't gotten my investment back as yet because it was like a locked in for a certain amount of years type of investment. Yeah, you don't know. So yeah, the real estate, the REITs they call for short, real estate investment trust is a simple way, whereas like you were saying, in direct ownership of the real estate properties is, it's like if you want to get your foot wet but you don't want to get too involved, you could get one of these. So it's like they have certain companies that have these REITs, whereas you could invest in the REIT. So think on it like a pool. They look for investors to put money into the pool, and then they take that pool, invest in a property, and then now you get paid dividends, and also you get paid. Well, not all of them will pay dividends, but you could get dividends and also get, you know, as increase on your, return on your investment once, let me say, they sell the property. So the one I was in, that's how it was. I made an investment. The smallest amount was 500. You could like that's minimum, and it was locked in for a while though, for that one, like 5 years. So yeah, that one kind of lengthy, but they have different ones. So don't leave me sit and lead that discourage you. But yeah, every month I was getting dividends, and at the end, once the 5 years is up, I can get payout for my dividends, but also the revenue at that get increased to them dealing with the property. Because what they do kind of like fixer uppers too, but still like high end. So it ain't just like it was a mash up dilapidated house or property. It was like a nice place, but then they fix it up nicer. So then they was able to charge more for rent, and then now when they decide to sell it, they could sell it for more. So then I get more return on my investment. Simple thing. Yeah, real estate investment groups. Yeah, same similar situation is like you're putting your money in these companies or these organizations, and they're doing the work for you. So yeah, why invest in real estate? I would recommend anybody who interested in real estate to check out this article. Like I say, all links can be shared in the chat. Now moving on to the investing in businesses, startup versus existing businesses. So I'll read this short snippet, then I'll move to the actual thing I want to read. So buying an existing business offers a unique opportunity to leverage established operations and create a base. So basically this saying is when you buy an already established business, you don't have to start from scratch. You're already coming into it with like their customers and the way how they do business, so the operation. So they don't have the necessary equipment they need to make whatever they making or give whatever service is solving, and they already have the staff most of the time, everything you need. So it's like kind of like turnkey. This is something I've been looking into for sure. you know Anyways, so yeah, the guide here would be breaking down essential steps to why it's beneficial to buying an existing business, how to find and evaluate these businesses, and the key actions from negotiation to closing the deal. So investing in startups versus established business. Most of us probably heard about how investing in Apple or Google early on would have made us, crazy amounts of money. Right now, Bitcoin is the talk. Even me, I remember 2013. That was right before 2014 is when I went away for college. So yeah, I was growing, but I didn't know nothing about Bitcoin. I could tell you that, but I wish I did. So that's like showing like the difference between like a startup versus established business. When you get in from the start, your opportunity for return is exponential. You can make large amounts of money back. Now when it's established, it's a little less upside but a little more secure, because now the startup must be a lot more risky, because anything could happen in a startup. Maybe you have faith in the startup, you invest in it, but then maybe it don't pan out like expected. Maybe the business owner ain't do certain things he had to do, and things don't pop like it's supposed to. But all as part of it, is up to you what kind of investor you are, to know if you are somebody who conservative, who just don't like risk, or if you are a risk taker. Like one of my friends used to say, take risk and prosper. So in life, sometimes you gotta take some risk if you really want to get ahead. So is you. Or sometimes you could do both. Maybe you do a little bit of investing in the startup, a little bit of investing in the established business, so you cover all your bases, you're safe. So yeah. Anyways, the reason startups tend to attract a solid inflow of investments is because money makes more money. Every successful investor knows and lives by this mantra. you know Money not invested loses its value very rapidly. So naturally investing it, at least a part of your wealth, is a good idea. So yeah, they were saying, yeah, they give you a lot of like reasons why, you know, being a part of a group of investors or investing in these startups is beneficial, and you know a lot of good information related to, let me say, if you interested in starting up a business, investing in a startup, or just a established business that done running, done operating. So yeah. Good night, Laurel. Good night, Laurel. Blessings. Thanks for joining. Appreciate the love. Love and blessing. Um, yeah. No, got big up Laurel now. I gotta give Laurel some love. Good. Anyways, yeah, investing in startups, and think on it this way, in simple terms. You could either start up your own business. Maybe you have an idea that you could solve a problem and bring it to the market, which I can talk about that a little bit. Or you could just invest in somebody else's business. Maybe you have a friend that have an idea. Maybe they want to start up a food truck, or maybe they good at taking pictures and they want to do like a little photography business. They already have clients. They want to start up something official. They need some equipment, whatever. You could invest in that business too. Maybe you tell yourself, okay, I got maybe a 3,000, $5,000 put on. It just catching dust, ain't gonna grow there sitting down inside my house. Let me invest it with Junior from down the road. You never know. You might get a 5,000, and then down the line, maybe you get a 7,000, 7,500, maybe 10,000. And maybe if you leave the money in, then it's a startup. So maybe once they take it out good, once they handle the business correct, you never know where it could go. Maybe your 5,000 could turn into 500,000. Check 50,000. It would be a little conservative, but just showing you, like, maybe you put that money in there and then things just shoot off. They get all these clients, all these contracts, and all this money coming in, and they checking by, yo, Oliver, Alarel, Anate, big up yourself for looking out when I needed you when I was down. hold this money, hold this extra. Yeah. Love. That's how life to work, that business, Or like I say, if you checking like you want to invest in an established business, maybe you don't want to even have that headache of why I gotta run the business or I gotta find employees, I gotta go do this, go do that, you know? Maybe you tell yourself you don't want to do that. So you check in, let me just, good example. Maybe, okay, we in St. Martin, maybe let me say, we see skipjack gone up for sale. Let me say maybe 500,000. Or let me say somebody in the States, maybe they in Miami, Flanagan's gone up for sale. 500,000. You say, what? Okay. When you go, you check the financials and thing, they show you like, okay, expenses is maybe like, we say 5,000 a month, but then every month are you pulling in like 15, maybe 20. Let me say 18,000 a month are you pulling in. Expenses is 5,000. That's a good business. That's a viable business. You don't got clientele operation running. You don't got your staff. Of course, you'll have to, all that would be in agreement when you take it over and think. Maybe when you discuss with them, you'll have to talk to your prospective employees and see if they would be willing to stay on with you. But let me say if it's a smooth transition that is like just signing over papers, that's a great business. You don't even got a manager really and truly. If you want, you could put somebody as a general manager in place and you could still live your life. When you see fit, you could come check up on your investment. And yeah. So, hey, big up my father one time. Big up the big boss, the whole boss one time. Yeah. Oliver Williams, senior. Yeah. This is Oliver Williams Jr. here. Okay, good. Yeah. Big up yourself one time, Pop. Shout out to my father one time, two time. On the live. Okay, good. Thanks for the support. But yeah, like they are talking about, So we talk about the startups and established businesses, also investing in stocks. So like I mentioned, I've been investing in some different stocks. Like I got some Bitcoin holdings, I got some shares or two different stock groups, let me just call it simply. And just making smart choices. Making smart choices, like Quinn would say. Yeah. So that's what life is all about. You gotta make smart choices. So, but yeah, bottom line, I ain't really got much to say on the investing in stocks and the buying on whole. Yeah, that's just if you like a company, let me say maybe you like maybe Gatorade or like I always talk about Crocs because I rock Crocs all the time. Whatever company you like that's publicly traded and you feel like, you know what, I like this company, I'm willing to invest my money in it because I know it's going to go up, my money going to add value, do that. Let me say me, like I said, I like Crocs. I check in, you know what, I can buy and hold some Croc stocks. Maybe this month I put 100 in. The Croc stocks was ranging about 130 something, 150 something between that range. I know exactly where it is right now. Maybe it gone up because the market gone up. I ain't check it in the past 2-3 weeks. Anyways, so yeah, like I say, you put $100 in, maybe it was 150, so you get 0.75 stock shares, let me say. So you don't get full share, you won't put out full 150. Cool. Next month now, you put another 100, maybe the stock gone down a little bit. Maybe now it's 130. So now you get a little more than 0.75. So now, you keep adding and keep adding. until now, maybe you got 100 shares. And then maybe when you got your 100 shares, the price of the stock now is $1,000 as opposed to $150. You could now sell that, and now let me say, every share you had that was worth 150 is now worth 1,000. So just you do that calculation on that percentage. I ain't want to do that math right now. I'll be doing a lot of maths. But yeah, just so you could get the idea of like why people just invest in stocks. And we say like a Warren Buffett, man, these people that tell you like he invested non-stop from here, little by non-stop. Like I trying to get my nephew deep into it. No, he about 17 no. And I check in like Warren Buffett always a talk about how he been investing from he like 16, 11 and them type of thing. You check and I check him by. I wish I could have go back in time and start investing, but you know we can't do that. We don't cry over spilled milk either. So I can do what I could do now, but try to share the knowledge too, so that they could do better than me too. You check. But anyways, I digressed. Moving on. Dividends. Dividends. I talk about it a lot because I love it. All I can say on the dividends is I have this video right here, build a dividend tsunami in 2025. And I just want to hear a little piece of it. Like, not this part, but not about that. So, hmm, okay. I just played that because I just wanted you to hear that, not from my mouth, but from the video itself. Um, so yeah, great video, great video. Anybody who interested in dividends, I recommend watching this video. Kind of long, about an hour and change, but great information. I telling you from somebody who understand the information, great information. Anyways, in this video, they give a definition of dividends. They give you examples. They show you breakdown, different types of dividends, stocks, and all these different things. He show how he set up his thing. He show a spreadsheet he put together to manage it. Great, great breakdown. I could give you a breakdown, but still, this year is way clear and concise. Perfect. So long story short, in a nutshell, dividend investing is investing not just in stocks or shares, but shares that pay you back, whether on a monthly basis or quarterly, which is every 3 months, and so on. Some of them is half a year or two. But bottom line, like I say, most investors like investing in stocks because you're gonna get gains, your money going to grow. It's like if you put on 1,000 and you leave it for a certain amount of time, it might be 2,000, it might be 2005, but now you gotta wait on it. You gotta sit down and wait. Maybe you might put it in today and then tomorrow it just shoot up and then you get lucky. You're a blessed man, but or woman. But generally, you gotta wait. Maybe a couple years, maybe a couple months. If you're lucky, I'm telling you, maybe you might be blessed and just hit that lick, But generally, you gotta wait. But now the dividends now is while you're waiting, you're still getting paid. You check. So even in this video, it break down how businesses does allocate the capital. So think on it this way: when a business make all the money after they done providing services, giving product, they just sit down and watch the big bank account and say, "Boy, what we gonna do with all this money?" Check. And usually it's 4 different avenues they just do. Either they does reinvest in the company, either they does pay back the stockholders, the shareholders, which that's where dividends come in. Because it's like, okay, anybody in a nutshell is just saying the company telling you, the shareholder, thank you for believing in us as a company, for believing in our mission and our journey. So it's like, okay, we make this amount of money surplus, and because you believe in us, we're going to give you a little something there now at the end of the month. Check, to say it in layman terms, simply. So, like I say, not all stocks does pay dividends, but for me, I like the dividend payouts. That's like double, check, double-edged sword, and I cutting with it. Yeah, double whammy, whack whack. Get the money now and you get it down the line too. Straight. I can't say it no other way. But anyways, this video, very insightful. Even in some of my previous videos, some of my previous episodes, I spoke about dividend investing. I spoke about my dividend investing journey. And yeah, I had a episode, I think it was episode 8, whereas I talk about me reaching 100 shares in QYLD, which is one of the ETF side I invest in. But yeah, trust and believe, my plan is to kind of dive more deeper into these different topics, and later times, later dates. Check. So yeah, moving on. After dividends, we talk about trading. So I briefly spoke about it a little bit just now, but what is trading? Trading is the buying and selling of financial investments in order to make a profit. These investments range from a variety of assets that are assigned a financial value that can go up or go down. And you can trade on the direction they'll take. So why they say that is because you could make money where they're going up, or you could make money where they're going down. It's all about what position you take. Check. So yeah, that's just plain simple definition. But in other words, what I'm saying is they have certain companies that people set a price that they believe the company share is worth, and then you could now make money on whether it go up or down. So you could put in a position saying, yeah man, I believe it's going to go up, and once it does, then you gain profits on that money. Now the difference between investing in like buying and hold and trading is the duration, the time. So usually trading is like more short term type vibes. So could be, it don't just have to be within a day. It could be a week. It could be a month. It's still considered trading. But yeah, that's the difference, because now buy and hold usually is considered like anything from like you want to hold it for like 6 months to a year. You know. So yeah. Anyways, then last but not least, that was on the list is buying gold. Investing in gold and other commodities like silver. So for thousands of years, precious metals like gold and silver have been used as currency, an investment, and a symbol of wealth. The key points that drive investors to take these metals as their long history as a store of value is their low correlation to volatile financial markets and their utility as a hedge against inflation. So what it's basically saying is, because it is store value so well, most investors love to go to it as a store of value, in the sense of like, think on gold. As you know, most people say gold don't lose value. So most people has tried to invest in gold, or at least when the market's volatile, they does invest in gold, because gold a lot more safer, a lot more stable, a lot more secure. When everything else going down or going up, going haywire, gold is stay more stable, more secure. Check. Good example is a couple months ago when Trump come with the tariff talk and thing and throw the whole financial market in a spinaroni. Bye. I could tell you from experience, throw the market in a spin around, like topsy-turvy, upside down. Yeah. And straight up, while everything in the financial market was going down, was red like fire, gold was just soaring to the skies, going up all-time high. Man. And that there was a straightforward, direct example of what you're talking about. Like, when the market start to get a little shaky, when the big money or the big investors checking by, I know how things looking with these things in the market. Let me put my money in gold. Let me lead us stay there for a while till I know things cool down a little bit. And that's how they move. Check. So you gotta know. You gotta know what's going on. You gotta know the markets, know what you're seeing, know what you're reading, to know how you're gonna move. Life is chess, not checkouts. Anyways, yeah, you got a lot of information I could talk about here. I could read it down there, this whole article, because it's good information. But what I really want to touch on here is the different options you have if you want to invest in gold. Like it says, how to invest in gold and silver. So investing in gold and silver, ETFs and mutual funds. So like how I talk about ETFs earlier, like I say, it's like a company that's buy a group of different things. So they have some of them that they stick to gold or commodities. So maybe this one company, they might buy some shares or some portions of different gold, maybe it's a gold mining ETF or just gold bullion holdings, whatever to be. You could just, like how I was talking about with the business earlier, if you want, you could just take your money, put it in these ETFs, and then they just do the work for you. They go invest in, whatever different gold standards they see doing good, and God bless you and see some type of return on your money. Moving on, investing in gold and silver mining stocks. So if you decide you don't want to do the ETF, you want to manage it yourself, you know about gold, you know about maybe some gold companies or some gold mining companies that doing good, you could do that yourself too. Like they have mining stocks. Like Kingross is one I know about. I had do some research on that. One day is like a company that they does mine gold self, and they don't have contracts with certain, let me say, like distributors and so on. So to the point, like when they mine gold, the gold don't accounted for. They check like they mining it to just, they making money. Long story short, they doing the work and it don't pay it for before they even finish the work. Long story short, they check. So that's a good company that they're doing good. Once you do your fundamental analysis, and if the company running good, if the management of the company running good and the numbers looking good, why not invest in that? Check. That's due diligence. That's what I mean when I say do your due diligence, do your homework, know what you're getting yourself into. That's why anybody who doing anything like this that ain't a licensed financial advisor, I'm give you the disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. This is just for educational purposes, because people does watch things like these, go invest in things, lose the money and then come back to you and say, "Bah, yeah, you make me lose my money." Not Oliver. No, 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 no. Don't come say Oliver make you lose your money. No. I'm teaching you how to deal with your money, right? What to look for, how to operate, how to manage it. So you can't come and say that. You check? I telling you, put your money where you see it fit. Because what? If you want, I go help you look for, see what to look for. But I showing you why you're investing in. But for education purposes. Anyways, so yeah, you could invest in the mining stocks yourself if you checking your own and deal with ETFs and things. Um, you could invest in gold and silver futures and options. That's more to do with like the trading online, like the trading stocks and so on. So similar to buying the shares of the mining stocks. If you want, you could say, I want to be further off from it. I don't want to be so direct in it. Let me just trade some gold and silver, which I ain't gonna lie, when things was kind of topsy-turvy with the markets and Trump and thing with the tariffs, I did put in some trades with the gold dollar XAU USD. Yep. And yeah, like I tell you, she was soaring, so I couldn't leave that pass. Like I had to say for my trading and journey, my two favorites, my babies, is gold and the crypto gold, Bitcoin. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Straight up. Them is my babies. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, investing in physical forms of gold. So, whether it's like the gold bullion or which is like this, so like they have like coins or they have like these bullions, which is like kind of bars and so on. Yeah, like I said, they got the coins. Yes, I was hoping to see the coins. And then yeah, investing in gold and silver jewelry. So as you probably noticed, I like my jewelry. I like my gold. Certain people have like negative connotations or negative stigma towards wearing a lot of gold, but how I look at it, we come from African descent. When you look back in African history and thing, they were loaded down till you can't even see them no more with gold, man. So why you can't rock a little gold? Anyways, and yeah, and then yeah, some more information about what you need if you want to open an account and blah, 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 all that good stuff. So yeah, going back to our PowerPoint, the next slide, life insurance, which we're coming down to the end soon. Which yeah, my time coming down to an end too. Life insurances and different insurances. I just want to touch on this. Buying life insurance as an investment. You can build up cash value using a life insurance policy and tap into the funds when you retire or before. Hey, thanks, cuz. Thanks. Blessings to interactive live stream. If you've been on that page already, check it out. Local interviews with local pioneers. Check out interactive live stream. Follow. I was actually on interactive live stream Thursday. Okay, good. Anyways, um, yeah. So as it says, the primary purpose of life insurance is to pay out a sum of money to your beneficiaries after you die. But it is not the only reason to buy coverage. This a recent NerdWallet study found that 23% of Americans who purchase life insurance do so to build cash value and save for retirement. While you can use life insurance to accumulate cash value, it isn't a typical investment or the best choice for everyone. So basically what I'm saying is it is an investment option, not one of the common ones, but it's saying It's not the best choice for any and anybody, so you got to know what you're doing if you're getting into that, which I agree, because ironically I was into it and I didn't even know how good it was till after. So short quick story, when I was in the US, I actually had a life insurance. I was working. I actually had shared this story too in one of my previous episodes, but anyways, I ended up starting to work a customer service job, and one of my colleagues, he had a life insurance through a company there, and he had recommended me to come to a presentation about it. I went to it. It was sounding good. I signed up. Long story short, I was paying less than $30 a month. I had coverage of up to 500,000 death benefits. So God forbid, knock on wood, I'm gonna wood close by, if something had happened to me. But also the premium, I mean the life insurance plan I had not just death benefits, but life benefits and the cash value, which was explained here. Well, touched on. So I can explain a little bit more of it here now. How it is in the US, at least, I never see it in the St. Martin. If anybody in the chat, anybody hearing this, know of life insurance with cash value in St. Martin, please leave a comment. Please, I want to know. If you don't want to be in the comment, you could send a direct message. That's not a problem. But if you hear this and you know the answer, please send it somehow. Because, yes, like I say, I never see or hear of no life insurance option in St. Martin that has a cash value option, like a cash value with it. I know that they have this company. Can't remember the name of the company right now. Anyways, they just provide small life insurance benefits, and like I think like up to 15,000 or something like that. And I think they got some type of cash value added with it, but I ain't fully certain. But nothing like how I about to express. So, like I say, when I was in the US, I had a job and I had end up signing up for life benefits. Every month it just come out of my salary. Simple. Now, because of my visa expiring, I end up deciding to move back to St. Martin. So I wanted to be up there illegally. So I decided to close the life insurance upon, along with other things. Now, when I close the life insurance, I end up telling them, like, they tell me if anything, they could do it. I can get a penalty for closing it, of course, but I could get whatever cash value I have accumulated, which I can cool, no problem. Keep in mind, I started this life insurance maybe around June, so maybe say June, July. And I traveled back to St. Martin the end of February. So in January is when I deal with that closure, the policy, and the penalty and the payment, payout, whatnot. I get $1,200 and some dollars. And I checking, you telling me from like June, July to January, 6 months, me paying $30 a month. I get a cash value of 1,200. I know I checking, I need to start a backup. Like, I call back my partner, they are checking like, yo, I think I need to come back upstate and get her back reinstated, just so that I could be making money. Type 5. The check, because I even do some research and read some articles, come across some videos about people who using these type of life insurance as their own bank account. So think on it this way: you are investing in a company, you are investing in real estate, you have your life insurance cash value that has accumulated, that now you could live off of. You could use that as your down payment, you could use that as your collateral. So think on it this way. Good. Like how we talk about real estate investments earlier on. Let me say maybe you see a property, maybe 500,000, you gotta put 10% down. So that's 50,000. Maybe you got a life insurance policy that you've been paying into maybe a year. Let me say 2 years. So now it had a little time to accumulate. Keep in mind it'll be compound interest, and some companies does match what you putting into the investment and every month. You check? So compound interest already in itself is already a big win. But then now the match too is like you're doubling the money. Good. So think on it this way. You putting into your life insurance, maybe you accumulate a 80,000 maybe in your life insurance cash value. That ain't to say that ain't nothing to do with like the death benefits, the life benefits. Keep in mind when I was in the US and that plan I had, God forbid, knock on wood, if I had get sick, I could have used my benefits, my life benefits, thing to say like I gotta now figure out where I can pull money from, who I gotta order the hospital or whatever. No, that's covered. I don't pay my life insurance policy. Over time that'll regenerate, or I put it back in. Once I get it back, everybody happy. Good. But now, like I say, you build up your thing. You maybe got like a 80,000. Like I say, you see a property you want to buy. You don't gotta go to the bank. You could go to your life insurance policy cash value that you accumulated. I say, okay, look, I need 50,000 out of that. That's your money. Let me just clarify that. Check. Nobody gonna come harass you about it. Nobody gonna be on your back about it. Of course, the insurance company gonna be checking, like, you don't have to. They got stipulations. You like kind of take it out and then it gone. Like they'll have to put it back, or they have outlines on how they does deal with that. But yeah, opportunity. So it's like putting yourself in position to be able to do things with ease, with freedom, without strain, without it having to be why I gonna do how I want to pay for that, why this one coming up, and one then coming up, I want to pay for this car, I want to pay for this, I want to pay for that. No, you put yourself in a position to ease yourself down the road. Maybe now it might be a little tough, maybe now it might be a little struggle, but you're greasing the road down the line. Anyways, kind of try to finish up things, moving on. Yeah, like I said, I got other insurances too. So even like property insurance, or maybe if you got business insurance or liability insurance, whatever it is, all them things is good investment. Why? Because it saves you money. You check? Yeah, it could make you more money too, but it also could save you money that you might end up losing in the long run. Anyways, business. Like I always talk about, investing in yourself is important. I can't stress that enough. Like, in order for you to execute anything, you need to have the knowledge. Like I say, knowledge is power, but application and knowledge is where the power really lies, because you could know something, but you have to do something with it. But you could be doing something and you don't know what you're doing. You check? So you gotta invest in yourself first. Invest in your cabez. Put something in your head first. You check? And yeah, my advice to you as a aspiring business owner, don't just create another job for yourself. Don't just end up moving from your current job and now it become like now you're working a job for yourself, under your umbrella, and now you're doing everything. No. Become a boss, become an owner, become an entrepreneur. Like, an entrepreneur, a leader, like how I talked about earlier, is about knowing how to delegate, knowing how to pass tasks along, that redundant tasks that you don't have to be doing every time, because now you could be doing something that can grow the business further, so you can't expect you're going to do everything. So when you start a business and now you check and use the business, everything is on you. All the clients calling you. Anytime the client gotta get solved is you. You just create another job for yourself. Just burn out yourself there again, and then it can be worse because now you don't have nothing to fall back on. You don't have no paycheck to depend on, because now is when you go out is when you create your freedom. You create your paycheck when you go do the work. So eventually I'm burn out yourself. And yeah. But yeah, try to not just start up a business and it be like a one-man show. Try to eventually bring on people, delegate to other people, and try to lighten your load so you could elevate the business. So when you free up that time, you could go look for other clients. You could go maybe get cheaper prices from your suppliers, or find other suppliers with better prices, a lot of different things when you free up your time. So not saying don't do the work, or not saying like be afraid to do work. It's your business. If the work gotta do, you gotta do it. But don't be afraid to bring on somebody else and have them, do the work too. Like my father teach me from I was young. If you want something done right, do it yourself. And that's true. You check? Nobody ain't gonna do something the way how you want it done. But in life you have to trust and be able to delegate things, and trust that you show this person the way, and that they could take it from there, that you don't gotta now be micromanaging and be supervising everything they do, to make sure, because then you won't really delegate the work. You just now become a supervisor. The point is, let's be honest, with any business, any person here who wants to start a business, the idea, when you think on starting a business, yes, you want to solve a problem, but the whole thing is you want to make money so you could live more comfortably. You want to reach to a point that you don't have to be in the business all the time if you don't want to. That if you want to go on vacation for a month, 2 months, you could do that, and you don't gotta worry because everything running smoothly. That you have people you could rely on, that you don't gotta get called, or you don't gotta be calling every day or every hour, every minute, checking, hey, you get through this? What happened with that? No, all that stress on you. So few benefits of being your own boss, being a business owner, are freedom. You have the freedom. You set your own schedule. You, like I just say, I dance to the beat of my own drum. Yeah. Nobody ain't calling me all the morning. Yeah, where you be? Yeah, you coming into work? Nobody ain't cussing me and going on at me when I save in the business. Nah. Freedom. Yeah, what we need in Samati. Yeah. Another benefit, you help stimulate the economy. So you provide jobs, but you also provide revenue to the economy of the country, whereas they're helping, helping people, helping the country grow, helping a lot of different things. You check? So you add into the GDP of the country. So these is reasons why business owners get these like benefits and incentives, because ain't just an individual now checking, yeah, okay, well, I making money, I pay my taxes. No, is individual times 10, individual times 25, times 100, times 300. You check? So now you're on a different level. You representing multiple people. So yeah, like I say, you're providing jobs, you're solving a problem for a group of people. So usually when you get into business is because they have a problem, something missing, and you feel you could be the one to fill that gap, you know, and capitalize on it. So yeah, you solving a problem for people. So that's a positive thing too. And then yeah, of course, making money. Making money. What all of us want to do. All of us, each and every one of us, we doing our job, we doing whatever to be we doing. Why? To make money, to put food on the table. Cause that's the end goal. To put food on the table. Yeah, we can buy little stupidness and thing, but the bottom line is we gotta eat. You check. So just to name a few benefits. But yeah, as like I say, as a business owner, you get many incentives because you stimulating the economy. You the person providing jobs, you generating revenue, so you helping the economy because of you operating in it. You helping the money flow through, so the money ain't just staying in people's pockets, staying on the people's bed. People coming to spend it with you, your employees getting money because of you. So money circulating because of your business. You check. Like I say, that's good for the GDP. And yeah, so anybody starting a business gonna get numerous incentives and benefits as opposed to being an individual. you know so yeah. And yeah, record keeping is very important. I want to share this short article about record keeping, records management in 2025, why it's important. Today, too many companies either underestimate the importance of record management or view this process as a matter of convenience, meaning like when they could do it. And yet record management programs are vital for any office with ongoing record keeping, as they offer numerous of advantages to productivity and cost savings. Cost savings. Remember, I say that. I'll touch on that again. What's more, a good record management system helps ensure compliance and quick access to your most recent files. So, what is a record? A record is any document that's created or received in an office setting. So it don't have to be an office. Since we're talking about financial investment, keeping records of your investments. Maybe you have like a spreadsheet, like I talk about in the video from the dividends. The guy have a nice spreadsheet that he keep track of every money he invests. So now he could see how much he make. He could lovely, comprehensive. I love it, honestly. And it has helped. It has been important. Whether it's paper or digital. Most people move in digital now, but yeah, it's important. Why it's important? Importance of record management lies in how it oversees information that's been created, received, maintained, and disposed of. In other words, record management is important because it ensures that vital records are preserved, and it supervises records throughout their life cycle, including compliance and set of retention procedures. 8 benefits of efficient record management: easier compliance. So let me say like paying your taxes and audits and all these different things. If you have your records and your information already organized properly, when anybody come, you could hand it to them. Or a good example, right now, like I say, in a business course, and part of it is once the course is completed, you get the opportunity to apply for a loan. Now, when you're applying for a loan, good record keeping is important because a good example, they got fisherman Lee who in the class, and he check in, he have a record of every single fish, every single weight, every single catch he catch for the last couple years, 5 and plus. Good. So when you do that, anything you want, you could get, because now you could show the data. You check, my father is another good example. He is a taxi driver. Some years ago, he decided he going to buy a bus from off the lot, brand new from one of the local dealerships. And when he went to the bank to get a loan, the bank checking like, he ain't got no job and thing, but he checking, yeah, he's a taxi. So now for they checking, yeah, that's unstable, that's, steady walking thing, so they didn't really wanted to give the loan. But then when he come with his records that he show like, by look, on a light month, maybe 3,000 a month. What else they gonna say? You check? What else they gonna say? Once you managing your money good, once you showing your records, any door open for you. You check? So anyways, let me continue. Easier compliance, better workflows. So, most agencies don't analyze the time spent on storing or searching for records. So it's difficult to know how much time is wasted in the process. But when documents are stored on site in overflowing file cabinets, there's no doubt a lot of time is lost while trying to recover relevant information. Think on you going in your office archive room and it's a mess and you need to look for one piece of paper. Now you gotta go shuffling through all these papers to look for it. It was organized. You just go pull, this month, this date, paper. Just one. Good. Cost savings. Consider the volume of reports and emails your business produces on a daily basis. Out of all that information, there may only be a small percentage that is actually useful. Anyways, long story short, it's saying that when you manage your data and your information, your records properly, you save because now you use less paper, or maybe if you're paying for online cloud storage, you're saving space because now you aren't just saving a bunch of clutter, a bunch of useless information. You have the exact information you want that you want to store. You store it concisely how you want it saved, and you're good to go. Good to go. Effective retrieval, like I say, getting it out of whatever room or wherever it be. And then, minimize risk. So the agency can readily reduce the risk of litigation or potential penalties. That's because a throughout and true thoughtful record management strategy can minimize the liabilities associated with document disposal. So basically what it's saying is certain companies does have to like maybe shred or dispose of certain information because it's maybe sensitive, it have like sensitive information like maybe personal customer information or whatever. And this basically saying you minimize risk by having proper records, because then you got less papers are important getting in the wrong hands. Long story short. Yeah, protect your data and preserve your knowledge. So, whatever knowledge or information you have from the company, whatever intellectual property, in getting in the wrong hands, and boost morale. So there's no denying that poorly managed records, unorganized filing systems, and recurrent loss of documents creates a less than ideal office environment, which can have a direct impact on employees' morale or motivation at work. Though it's difficult to quantify how much these circumstances negatively affect your team, it's no doubt noticeable. By implementing a strong system for record management, you can boost the overall feeling among everyone on your staff and give increased confidence that things are running according to plan. So basically saying when things haphazard, when things disorganized, people lose motivation. So Long story short, having things organized, better kept and secured and managed will have your team feeling more comfortable, have them feeling, more productive and all these different things. So a lot of benefits to having your records in order. And yeah, what I like to say on that, is having your records is important. Data is important. Having data is very helpful. It allows you to make smart decisions moving forward, make smart choices, like Quinn would say. So think on it this way. Like I say, fisherman, maybe you just fish and you just keep your records. So you know that around July to September, you don't catch no snapper fish self. The snapper to be low, if any. So now, because you save in your records, you have that data, you could now move accordingly. You don't waste your efforts, waste your energy going to look for snapper, you know, bottom line. And it's the same with any type of business, like having good data does help you make smart decisions. Like, okay, another good example, maybe you are a wine company selling different wines, and let we say maybe because of the data you're doing, you notice that around the summer times, Moscato they sell the best. So now because of that, couple months before, you put more Moscato in production, less in maybe the red wine and so on, because you don't really gonna make much money on those. Now all money in, maybe double your production of Moscato, but all of it sell. Smart moves, you're making smart decisions, but now is data driven decision making. They ain't just doing things on the flyer just because it look good or feel good. It's because it's right. You check. Wisdom is doing what's right because it's right. So yeah, that's all I gotta say on that. And yeah, so I share those key insights on the record keeping, and the importance of it. And yeah, like I say, I know people that did I write down everything. Let me say, like I say, my father, he that type of person. He go taxi, he keep records, he start up the chicken coop, he keep record. He could tell you how much chickens he buy from the start, how much eggs lay, how much money he make from it. Good record keeping. You check? Smart moves. When you make those smart type of moves, you can make better decisions moving forward. You check? Plain and simple. So yeah, and that I'm going to come to my conclusion, which is why financial literacy is so important. I feel like I touch on that a lot in this episode, but it's important because if you really want to live a comfortable, financially free life, you have to have a good level of financial literacy, not just basic, but a good, reasonable level of financial literacy. Like I say, the more, as you progress, you're going to learn more and things, but you have to have a good, decent grasp, a good, reasonable understanding of what it is, how to manage your money, manage your money, lessen the unnecessary spending. When you get money, try not to go and spend it immediately. Most of us, most of us, to leave money control us, and we need to not. Don't let money control you. You have to take control of your finances. That's one of the, I think, maybe the most key insight I feel like I want to share with you tonight. Don't leave the money control you. You control your money. Because trust and believe, money, it like to spend. You know, money like money. Money like being around money. So if you just got it in your pocket, if you just got it up under a bed or somewhere, you gonna want to spend. And if you don't have control over yourself or over your finances, you're going to spend. So you have to control your money. Don't let money control you. And you have to become financially literate to unlock financial freedom. If you want to live comfortable, if you want that, whether next month, next year, next couple of years, that you could live worry free, you could say, bye, I don't have to work this job no more. I tired of this job, I gone. Or you could say, you know what? I got a rental property coming with money coming in. I could go on a month vacation. I ain't got to worry. I could go 2 months, 3 months, round the world trip. I could go. Check. Money coming in, money making. Most of us vexed, upset, angry, sad, depressed because why? Finances in shambles. We want to do things, but we can't do things. You check? So, what you gotta do first? You gotta get your mind right. You gotta get your motivation and your inspiration and your positivity intact. And then from there, start to make your money. Start to do things to make your money. And if you don't know what to do, start educating yourself on what to do so you can make your money. Yeah, because what it all about? Making money. So you, your family, whether your children, your niece, your nephew, your mother, your father, your uncle, your aunt, your grandmother, your grandfather, your partner, your friend down the road, whoever to be. Maybe you and your friends want to say, man, let me go on a trip. Whatever to be. Start to become financially literate. Start to make the right moves. Make smart choices. Like how my niece would say. Yeah. To become financially literate in order to unlock your financial freedom. And that's all I gotta say on that. That's all I gotta say on that. I ain't gonna lie, I'm proud of myself for getting through everything in this 2-hour span. Well, actually, it was shorter than 2 hours because I still had my motivational message. I still do announcements. I still had like a 5-minute gap before I start. Man. Nah, but on a real, I'll say like this. I knew it was a lot of information I had / wanted to share tonight. And, God bless. I asked him and I tell him, I know I'm going to deliver and I delivered well. Normally, as any of my recurring guests know, I've been cutting it down shorter than 2 hours. So don't mind that. You check. But yeah, good information nonetheless. I would hope it was good information for you, the audience. If it has been, leave a comment. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe for sure. Every week I on YouTube. Facebook, if you're on Facebook, not me, you probably got me, but if you don't, follow your boy. Yeah. Every week we here all over it. We all over it. We uncovering it all. Okay, good. You see my cousin approve. I need to hear nothing else. I'm joking. I really want to hear why. You gotta say how are you feeling about it. You see? Big up my cousin Gerardo. Boon in the place. Yes, sir. Big up yourself one time, cause you don't know love alone. But yeah. Every week I hear right now, I had some other type of content like last week, week before, different type of content. I had one where I talk about employment injustice, my employment injustice disputes. I had one where I talk about setting smart goals, so setting and achieving goals and the importance of, planning and executing your plans, you know. Trust me, something for everybody, you know. And all the episodes right there on YouTube, all of them, from one straight go through, So if you want to hear about my trip to Borneo, if you want to hear about agriculture, if you want to hear about infrastructure, if you want to hear about Starlink, I had an episode talking about Starlink and Telem and them ones. Man, we doing things now. We here, we unlocking it all for you, uncovering it all, unlocking the door so you can walk in, enter, welcome. Yeah, welcome to All Over It podcast. We'll be here uncovering it all every week, So yeah, all I could tell her is thanks again. Without you, no All Over It podcast. I'll be here talking to myself. You see? Big up my cause, I'll be here. Yeah. See, interesting topic, interesting subject. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for saying that. One thing I know, the financial info does be a hit. Let me put it like that. People are like the financial talk. But like I say, let's be honest, everybody wants to know how to manage their money better. Everybody wants to know what they could do to make some more money. Check. So, and I ain't get them wrong. So, yeah. Just know, today I went through this information, but my plan is moving forward to kind of touch on these different avenues and things like for itself, like kind of do an episode about each avenue, kind of going into them in detail. So kind of like a series, and this was like the first opening episode. But yeah, financial literacy, the real flex. Cause let's be honest, that's the real flex. That's where it's at. You hear people living off of dividends. You see the video, the man say for himself, he living off of dividends, 500 and change every month. Some months 1,000 and change, 1,002 and thing. Yeah, that's a salary just from chilling. Yeah, you gotta invest in it up front, but then once you do the initial investment, you could live good. Business, the same thing. You start up a business, you have a good idea, start your business. Yeah, in the beginning it might be a little hard, It might be you by yourself, maybe you got one or two of your partners helping you, one or two of your friends. And yeah, but just keep at it. Eventually you're gonna reach to a point whereas you could delegate the work. You don't have to be there all the time, money making, you pay yourself a salary and everything good, So I say all that to say invest in yourself and realize and recognize the importance of financial literacy and understanding how and what is the best moves for your financial freedom to live financially comfortable moving forward in the future, and yeah, just manage and enjoy life, live life, because that's what you're there to do, live your life, live in your purpose, find whatever greatness lies within you and nurture it. So that's all I gotta say. You don't know, love alone. I thank you all for joining another episode of All Over It podcast. And just know, next week, same time, right here once again, right on time. All Over It podcast. But yeah, I have a good night. Stay blessed and see you next week. Later.